Alright, this video may be a bit more boring because I kind of want to go through a full game with full commentary, and I can only do that with a longer time format, so I'm going to try doing 10 plus 5. Knight f6 is my preferred response to d4 just because it doesn't force me to kind of restrict my pawns wherever. Like, if you play d5 first, then you can't really... you just have less flexibility, I think. So I like playing the Queen's... not the Queen's Indian, the Nimzo Indian, where you kind of put, if knight c3, then you kind of put your bishop here on b5, or b4. And here, I mean, I technically could do the same. Yeah, let's do the same. And then if bishop back, then I would probably move the bishop back. And that seems like a lot of wasting time, but you're actually... white's wasting more time because as black, your bishop is actually more comfortable on e7 in general, as I mentioned in my chess theory, my basic opening chess theory video. So now I could just castle, probably. I used to study this a bit, like I knew all the variations. You play c5, c5, d6, or you play d5, or you castle based on how white moves. But I kind of remembered, or I kind of forgot the order to all that. I just know I don't take right away. So I think I'll just castle, to be honest. So yeah, really c5, d6, or d5 are really the only moves I'm considering. I just don't really... I just forget the differences. Probably consider playing h6 at some point. Maybe like now, to be honest. Because now he can't actually move his bishop back. So I think he has to take, yeah. Or, yeah, I mean, he didn't have to take. Okay, so I have some options now. I think now you play c5, because this pawn can't really take, because you have a double attack on the knight here. And he could just ignore it, which is fine, but then c5 lets me put my knight here. There's also some ideas of c5, d6, rook d8, I'm not sure which rook, just to eye down the queen. Because I think in this opening, like this file doesn't really open that much if you play like c5, d6. It's more this file opening. So just something to keep in mind. So now I could kind of put my knight here to get more tension on the center here. Again, if you watch my other video, all I'm trying to do is put tension. He can't really push because take is with check, yeah. So he would have to respond to the bishop move first. So yeah, now I could just take. And then I would have to consider if I wanted to take the pawn. So if I take the pawn, it kind of fixes his pawn structure, so let's not do that. I'm considering either d5 or d6. In this situation, any move that's not a pawn move is definitely bad, just because you don't want to run into this pawn move and not have a response. You don't want to be like reactive, right? You want to be proactive. So I mean, if he moves here, okay, no, he can't do that because I have the queen there. Yeah, okay, sorry. So you don't have to do it right now. But you might want to do it like, you might want to like set it up. So yeah, I'm thinking of either, yeah, I'm gonna do d6 just so I get my bishop out. Again, he can't push because of check. Okay, he could push now, but then I have this move, which I think is fine. So usually when I play this, my queen is somewhere here, because as you can notice, if my bishop is there, it kind of helps reinforce it, and it adds a lot of pressure on that c3 pawn. But now that my queen is here, I'm not very used to this position, so I have to think a little bit. The only move I'm considering for him is d5, because if I move my knight, is the resolution okay? Knight moves, hitting bishop, knight takes, queen takes, still hitting that, he's hitting that. So that's fine, I'm not worried about that. Like, I want to play something like b6, I can get my bishop here, but I'm worried about... should I be worried about that? bishop, pawn, take. Yeah, so I have to set it up first with like rook d8. But I don't know if rook d8 is misplacing my rook. But yeah. So again, if when you're in a classical game, I know this is rapid, but like for online chess, it's basically a classical game. You just want to consider, like, as quickly as possible, not just your moves, right? Like your opponent's moves. Like when you get better at chess, a lot of players, like, they'll get good at analyzing. Like after they make a move, they can analyze what happens afterwards. And the mistake that happens is that okay, so right, like I already knew this was gonna happen. The mistake that ends up happening is that you end your analysis on your move, which I think is a mistake that a lot of young players as well, young players and new players make, is that, let's say I analyze this move and I stop at queen e5. In this specific scenario, I should stop on a white move. So just for example, I should stop and consider if white plays knight or queen f3, or something like pawn takes or pawn push or something like that. I shouldn't stop on my move. So yeah, see, so in hindsight, this rook move is kind of bad because this is gonna be locked for a while. I can't really relieve it. I mean, I could, if he doesn't, like, if he pushes here, I can't really relieve it because it'll be closed forever. I kind of just wasted a move. However, with that being said, it does free up my bishop, so maybe not. Maybe it's worth it. I don't see the point of that because I think that's just a blunder because I was gonna say I have queen captures c3, but now I have queen captures e3, so I don't really see why he did that. I mean, it must be better than queen captures c3, right? There's no way queen captures c3 is better. Or is it? No, this has to be better. Okay, so now I just have to get my bishop free, so I'm just gonna probably capture here. Just seeing if there's anything wrong. Rook here, queen captures here, so I'm all good there. So can I just capture that? Because there's no, like, my bishop doesn't have really a future here, and doesn't have a future here because my rook is like stupidly there. So I think I could just take this pawn. Pawn recaptures. I still don't have a square for my bishop. I thought this was trapped for a second. So let's just move it back to, the question is where? Maybe even here, yeah? Just because now he can't even take this pawn. Actually, he can take this pawn. I was gonna say, if pawn captures, queen captures, he has a bishop check here, which is pretty nasty, and then the queen to take, which I almost didn't see. I don't really understand the moves that he's playing, because like now I just have this again. Like my queen was here a few moves ago, right? On move 13 and before, and I've made progress, and now it's just there again. Okay, so I think I could just take. Okay, so take bishop here, and then something like b5 looks pretty good. And then what his, so yeah, again, try ending it on his turn. So I'm thinking of probably rook here first. Rook e8 stops rook here. Rook e8, rook b1. Still can't move my bishop. That's really annoying. I mean, if I get my bishop here, is that better? And then I have, so I think that means I take first, right? Because, yeah, I think that means I take first. And I get my bishop like here. I could play d4 first, but I don't want to. Actually, I should, because if I don't play d4, he could play that first. And then now this is a pretty nice, I guess, pattern I got here. d5 also has the added benefit that I gave my rook some more room. So I think I just keep pushing it, right? Yeah, this is very nice because now this bishop can actually defend this guy. which it couldn't before, and it also eyes down this rook. My main benefit is to eye down this rook, but it has a secondary benefit of this. So that's a pretty good move, kind of just trying to stop it. So now I just need to get this rook involved, so I have two options. I could either move this rook here, or I can move this rook up. I'm leaning towards up. I think there's enough flexibility in this rank that it merits a move up here. So is there really any threats that... Okay, I see. No, no, I was gonna say this is a threat because I thought my rook was pinned, but it's not. Yeah. Well, I'm seeing if there's any alternatives to rook d6. And I'm aware of my time. I have 5 seconds. Don't be underestimated of how strong extra 5 seconds is. I'm not afraid of any of his moves. I think he already messed up. So this looks pretty good. And either probably moving my rook here. I'm considering moving my rook here and just doing like a pawn break. When you're in a position like this, you have to consider the pawn breaks that you have. So something like b5, a5, and then b6 is something to consider. Double is fine because I have the queen here still. So something like this, threatening checkmate, right? So that's a good move. So I could play this still threatening checkmate. He thinks he never has this. So let's just threaten checkmate again. Again, this doesn't work because I have checkmate. This idea of kind of when you're castled and your rook is kind of like here, you kind of play f4, or sorry, f4, f5, and then have some ideas of having a rook. It's called a rook lift, which is what I did here with rook d6. This idea is very common just because every time you move your pawn, it weakens your... Every time you move your pawns around your king, it weakens the pawn structure, which by turn weakens your king's safety. So rook lift is fairly common. And now I think he's realizing he's messed up because I don't really know what moves he could do. He could play like something like... Yeah, he can't even play like h6 or h5 because the rook's hanging. So I'm kind of disappointed that this guy's 1800. He's playing like a 1400. Like I'm not even sure if I've made the best moves because we'll see what the engine says after. Yeah, okay, cool. So I got another 39 elo, so I think that puts me over 1800. Eh? Okay, let's see if I messed up. I'm gonna predict a few inaccuracies. I guess for reference, like Super Grandmasters, they might make like 1 inaccuracy for the whole game. And here I have 4. But what's more interesting is their average center pawn loss is like always like around 10. It's actually really insane. Let's go through the whole game. I had 4 inaccuracies, which is... This is actually pretty solid. So I'm actually kind of disappointed that I have a 42 average center pawn loss because with 4 inaccuracies, I feel like this should be higher or lower. Sorry, like maybe 30 or 25 center pawn loss. So it suggests that like the strength of my moves weren't the best, even though they weren't inaccuracies. So yeah, transposing into a Nimzo Indian is not the best here apparently. Just h6. I did consider h6. So again, I mentioned here that from my time studying the Nimzo Indian, that c5, d5, or c5, d6, or castle are all viable moves. So I guess in this situation, castling is not better than c5. You have the flexibility of moving your queen to to a5, which puts a lot of pressure on the knight, and you can't really take here because this is with check. So you're getting a free pawn essentially for a slightly worse pawn structure. And then with c5, eventually queen a5. I mean, white has an argument that I could move my bishop back here, but then you're just wasting time, right? As black, I could just move my bishop back here, and then if you try doing some stupid discovery with your knight, I could just move my queen back, and then I have like a better position. So this is kind of a similar position that I had in the game, except his rook is here instead of not. So it's suggesting to take here and give him a worse pawn structure. I'm of the opinion that you never take here unless you're forced to, because you want the... Because a bishop on e7 is very like at home for black, for this dark square bishop, so I'm not really a fan of kind of capturing here. Double pawns aren't that bad. In fact, like they're actually pretty good early because they prohibit the knight movement more. For example, let's just say, I'm not saying this is a good move, but it actually looks like an okay move. If I had knight here, you could imagine that, like, let's say he does something weird like this. You can imagine that if you kind of take the bishop here and pawn here, that this pawn actually restricts my knight from kind of like jumping here, while also reinforcing this pawn. So I'm not saying in this position it's better or worse, but I'm saying that these double pawns have a use, especially in the early game. They become targets when the board's like more empty, but early it's actually pretty good. Okay. So c5 was is not the recommended move, but it's a good move. Bishop there. Yeah, so here you see, as I said earlier, this c5 d6 idea becomes very common. I was scared of b6 because I didn't know what to do after here. Do I just move my knight there? Okay. I want to see this line actually. Or what? I could just take here. Is that worth it? Let's say he takes here. Ah, okay. Yeah, so I thought he could just move his bishop back, but he can't because I have a discovery with the... I thought he could move his bishop back. He can't. I have the discovery with the bishop. Okay. So, I did consider b6, not necessarily on this move, because I wanted to get my bishop here, but I didn't know what to do against bishop e4. So maybe if I had more time, I would have probably considered that. Okay. Yeah, this idea, instead of capturing the knight, capturing this pawn is pretty common in the Nimzo Indian. As far as I'm aware, they're pretty similar. So, right, negative 0.5 versus negative 0.4, so it's pretty similar. So again, I did this d6 thing as it suggested before. It suggests I can still do b5, but again, I'm unsure about this. Because now you have some ideas of... Oh, I guess you don't. Okay, yeah, you never have this idea because I could actually take with the knight and still be protecting my bishop. Okay, yeah, so I was always scared of this bishop move, which is why I never played my bishop here. So that was that logic or concept was a mistake on my part. Okay, so it's suggesting to develop the bishop here instead of moving my rook. I admit that my idea was moving the rook so I could eye the queen, but I admitted over the game that it was not the best move. Well, it's not an inaccuracy, but it's okay. Okay, so queen, or keeping knights on the board seems better than not. I'm not really sure if I agree with that. Actually, yeah, duh, I agree with that because it adds pressure on this pawn. Because as you can see, let's say he ignores it, and let's say he just does something weird like this. You can see that I could kind of get this pawn for... No, I can't. Doesn't he have... Actually, yeah, because, right, like, he can still get the... I get the pawn for free, essentially. So yeah, this is a better move. But what I did is not an inaccuracy yet. As you can see, I lost 0.3 here, but it didn't count as an inaccuracy because I think it's 0.5. So take, that's what I did. Yeah, this was just a blunder, right? Oh, okay. So he lost 2.1 points here, but it's considered a blunder. So I guess blunders are like 2 or worse, which I don't know if I agree with that. Maybe. Okay. How much worse was this? Yeah, so it's fairly worse. Okay, so I made the right move. Was this the best move? What else did I consider here? Did I consider... I think I considered b6. Oh wait, nope. My queen would be trapped. So, yes. I did mention in the game that I thought my queen was trapped for a second. Okay, so I moved back here because I thought after here I could just take. Oh, right. Ah, shoot. I said that I couldn't just take back because of this bishop move here, right? So why did I move my queen here still? Didn't I literally say I can't take back? So why did I... Oh, I'm so confused. Oh, I don't know. I definitely said during the game that I can't take back, so I really don't know why I made that move. Okay, yeah, I noted that this was an inaccuracy during the game for sure, because my queen was just back where it was before. Okay, so it doesn't count as an inaccuracy apparently. Yeah, so this is a no-brainer for me because and let me just push my pawns and get his bishop completely out of the game while still developing my bishop. So I did this right. I was considering this, but obviously that doesn't work because of this. So that's good. Push again. Okay, so I'm glad that this idea works of kind of moving the bishop here and here. It suggested it for a second, but now it's suggesting b5, which I also mentioned during the game. Okay, so this was not... This is apparently a useless move. Right, because... Oh, wait, what? Okay, this makes no sense to me because I lose like 0.5 here, but it's not like an inaccuracy, or 0.9 here, but it's not an accuracy. Okay, so I think something's wrong with the engine here because, right, 5.5 versus 4.6, that would be an inaccuracy. Okay, so his eventual rook move here was actually the right idea, which I didn't really see the value in it. Okay, so this rook lift was bad. This is clearly better because of the impending checkmate here, which I just didn't... I thought of it later when I actually made this rook move here, but should have just done it right away. But it's good to note that during the game I did consider doing this or this. That's a nasty move. Because the pawn is pinned so he can't actually... Yeah. It's good to get him here because then it automatically puts him out of any back checkmates. Back rank checkmates. Yeah, oh, nasty move still, right? But this was a good move still. It's not really a blunder. Oh, it is kind of. Right, because this move, it forces... Yeah, what's wrong with it? Oh, I see. I get his bishop. Yeah, this is a nasty move. I just didn't see it. Yeah, that's a nasty move. Okay, so instead I did this, and he just resigned. Okay. So yeah, I had 4 inaccuracies. I had something here, which is not considered inaccuracy, but I lost a lot of points. And he just messed... He had more inaccuracies, but he had that one really bad blunder. F4. But I think I was in a better position regardless. It's definitely not winning because we're equal on pawns. I have a better queen. I have a better pawn structure and queen placement, but he has a better bishop, right? Like my bishop is quite limited, so that's why, hence the kind of even score. But if he puts his queen here, I have some bishop ideas here, right? Or not? There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so I think I have some like bishop ideas here. It's not suggesting that's the best move, but okay. So good. So that was kind of just some insight into how I think when I play rapid/classical chess. If this was helpful, leave a like on the video, and if you just really like the chess content, subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.